Every 2 to 4 weeks, I open up the beehive to see how the girls are doing. A little puff of smoke disrupts their pheromones and calms them down. About 4 months ago, I had to requeen. The hive had become Africanized, and their aggressive behavior made working in the garden difficult. Now, they're so calm, a full suit is hardly necessary. The bees use a substance called propolis that they collect from trees to seal cracks and crevices. The hive tool is used to pry the pieces apart. The first thing I check for is hive beetles. The last 20 years, beekeeping has become more difficult. There are diseases and other problems now that past beekeepers have never had to deal with. Now there is diseases like foul brood and pests like tracheomites and varroa mites. These Italian bees do not evolve with hive beetles, so if you don't keep them in control, they can take over a hive. When I see one, I use my hive tool to crush it. I pull the frames out and verify that the queen is still laying eggs. I also check on their honey production. I've had this particular hive for about 3 years. Some of the frames are starting to look kind of old. I will be replacing the frames next spring. There's been a lot of rain this summer, which means the flowers are blooming better than usual, and the production of honey is higher than it's been in past years. There's a good number of brood, too. These Italian bees have been bred to be resistant to tracheomites and varroa mites, and that looks good also. This hive looks pretty healthy. I wish there were more bees, but all in all, everything looks pretty good. They should have enough honey to get them through the winter. When the weather starts to get cooler, I'll reduce the number of boxes on this hive from 3 to 1. I'll go ahead and put the hive back together. I slide the supers back onto the hive to avoid crushing any bees. Easy does it when it comes to working with bees. You don't want too much empty space in a hive, as that becomes space that invaders can take residence in. These Italian bees are very calm, but I miss the productivity of the Africanized bees. I first became interested in beekeeping when a beekeeper friend of mine found out that she was allergic to bee stings. She had the choice of getting rid of her hives or finding someone else to work them. She had always enjoyed beekeeping, so I thought I would go ahead and get a suit and start checking on her hives. A lot of people asked me about honey and how much do I get. Well, I was able to get about 5 pounds 2 years ago. Last year the weather wasn't as good, so I left the honey with the bees. Beekeeping has been an enjoyable and rewarding hobby for me.